Welcome to another Speedy SOLIDWORKS tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about lofted features and how much they can sometimes be a pain in the butt. But this is probably one of the more advanced features that I do find myself using periodically, so it would be really helpful to understand how we do them. So like most of these more advanced features, these are grayed out because we do not have enough information to actually use the feature. So something that we're going to need is we're going to basically need multiple profiles that it can then kind of track together. These can become very, very complicated very, very quickly, and sometimes SOLIDWORKS will crash because of it, but I'm going to try and do it in a way that it makes the most sense and it's as easy to follow as possible. So let's start we'll start on the top plane and we'll just kind of walk through this profile. So let's say we want a circle that is 1.5 inches. Most of the time for each of these features, you basically need one profile per sketch. If you try to do multiple profiles, it's gonna get angry. It likes it to be simple. So now we need additional sketches you don't have to keep them in the same, the planes don't need to be parallel with each other, but they sure help when it comes to it actually doing the math and creating something that's going to be useful. So what I'm going to do is create reference geometry, a new plane based off of the top plane, and we're going to offset this, say, 1 inch. We're going to make it go down. So from this new plane, we're going to create another sketch. I'm going to make it into a rectangle so you guys can see kind of how this works as a whole. Walk this out 2 inches, make these the same if it's gonna play correctly. Then there we go. Now we have two sketches. As you can see, the planes are parallel to each other. They are about the same origin point technically. So let's go through. Now we should have enough sketches. We do, because as you can see, it's now selectable to create a lofted feature. So we need to select our profiles. We just have our two profiles. Select one, we select two, and this is the basic function of a loft. It goes through and creates an even, smooth connection between two profiles. They don't have to be the same. They don't have to have the same number of sides. They just have to be closed profiles. If they're not closed, it'll freak out. They have to be closed profiles, have to be at least two of them. I've done, I don't know, 6, 7, up to 10 profiles when I was trying to make an intake plenum before, of all varying sizes. The more profiles you have, the more defined the loft becomes and the less free-flowing it can be. Now, like the swept functions, you can have start and end constraints. These are very powerful in lofts. So if you want things to be kind of normal to the profile, so do you not want them to converge at the point of the profile and you want them to be perfectly normal to the profile when they get there, you can do that. You can also define the degree that you are willing to accept. As you can see, if you make it none, it basically connects them in a straight line in the most reasonable fashion. But if you go and tell it to be normal on both sides, you can get some very, very interesting geometry that can actually help with airflow. So these constraints are very powerful in lofts. They're not as powerful in swept items. The other thing is you have these two green balls. These can be dragged and it will actually twist your part. I do not recommend this. As you can see, it's going to start creating some very weird geometry unless you really want it to. If you want to try and induce swirl in the application of a kind of air moving component, you can do that. But typically, it does pretty well at getting it to be as smooth as possible. So let's go through the other things. Guide curves can come in handy if they are very, very complicated profiles, or say you want this kind of merge between them, kind of like how this setup makes things normal and you want it to follow that curve and you know what you want that curve to be, you can add that as a guide curve and it will follow that to the best of its ability. Some other options that you have below the guide curves is you can merge the tangent faces. Usually this is always auto selected, and you can close the loft, which sometimes breaks it. Don't really know why I did that, but lofts can be very finicky, so we like to make them as simple as possible. So if we go through and check that, now we have a fully closed solid body that connects the two pieces together. Now, something else that can be done is you can make a thin loft, but you cannot do it after you define the loft as a loft in the first place. So let's go through and try and do that. So if we delete the loft, our profiles stay. And you know what? Let's add some sauce to it and add a third profile. So we'll make it, say, 3 inches from our second plane, and you know what? We'll make it a hexagon, because why not? Live on the edge, keep things a little spicy, and we'll even offset it, because why not? Okay, so now we have 3 profiles. So let's make this thing and see what we can do to kill it, basically. So we go back through our lofted constraints. We select 1 profile, 2 profiles, 3 profiles. And as you can see, it's not really having a good time. Something we can do is we can start to try and move these selections around. If it is on a kind of an item that has points, it will default to specific points. If it's on a circle, you can kind of move it around a little bit. So as you can see, we can kind of make it kind of sort of happy. We can also pretty much break it if we really want to. But let's try and make this thing as functional as possible. But right down here at the very bottom, you have this thin feature button. So just like an extruded boss function where you tell it to be thin, you can also make this a thin feature, but it has to be defined as a thin feature before you go through and create it. So now we have a lofted thin feature with a wall thickness that is constrained, and it goes through the circle, square, then hexagonal profiles. So hopefully this gave you a little bit more of an idea on how you can use lofts. Again, this is supposed to be a simple tutorial, but they are very, very powerful. They can be very, very finicky. So just take your time. If it breaks for some reason, try and look at it. They're not overly complicated once you know what they're trying to do, but you kind of have to know your end goal before you start doing it because of how they're laid out and how they function. So hopefully you learned something in this. If you did, feel free to like it and check out my other SOLIDWORKS videos. Thanks.